This is an interesting one, and about skilling the workforce. Apparently it's essential to save some SMEs and towards economic recovery as well. Small business leaders are calling for some urgent action on the skilled workforce, and over half of SMEs state that they will need to retrain their workforce to adapt to threats like Brexit and COVID-19 in order to survive. Now, the majority say that governments need to prioritise skills, yet not enough is being done to help, and colleges are set to play a key role in the success of the future labour market. Now, here to talk about this in a little more detail is the Principal of South Essex College, Angela O'Donoghue. Angela, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So, I mean, this is a bit of a buzzword we're hearing at the moment, isn't it? Reskilling, stuff like this. What is the thinking behind it all?
Well, the world of work is changing, and nothing describes that better than what's happened since lockdown, where people have all started to work from home and all of that sort of stuff. And so there's lots of things changing in the workplace. The workplace is becoming much more digitised. We've got automation happening, and an awful lot of organisations and businesses are telling us that what we need to do is they need to have more highly skilled staff than they've got at the present time in order to make their businesses be able to grow in the future. And in order to do that, we haven't got enough 16 to 18-year-olds to fill all those gaps, no matter how many we train. So what businesses are telling us they need to do is they need to upskill and retrain the people that they've already got in employment so that they can keep pace with the changing requirements in the workplace.
So what sort of changes and challenges are those business owners facing when it comes to their workforce then?
Well, there's a lot more automation coming in. I mean, we do a lot of logistics training, for example, and most logistics companies now are talking about automating all of their systems so that they need less people, but they need more highly skilled people who can make the robots work and who can work the computers that actually enable them to do data analytics and all of that sort of stuff. So the workforce is definitely changing. And people are saying they need to upskill. I mean, even just using computers now, people need to upskill and reskill. We all will have been doing that over lockdown. I mean, I've learned to use Teams effectively and all that sort of stuff. But we do need to continually increase and improve the skills of the workforce.
It's interesting you say about the automation, Angela. I mean, our South Essex College really focusing on things like sort of computer coding and stuff like that now. Is that going to be the future, do you think?
I think that is going to be the future. And so we are focusing on it because I'm going to get the keys next week of our new building that we've just built in Basildon Town Centre, which is a new centre for digital technologies. And we did plan to open it for September, actually, but it got delayed due to COVID. So we've started the students, and there are other campuses at the moment, but they're all going to move in there from January. And the whole focus of that building is digitisation and coding and animation and all of those skills. IT infrastructure requirements are going to be huge moving forward. But there's also, there's a lot of people now becoming unemployed. And so people will be thinking about, well, should I change career? Should I reskill? Should I go to college and upskill? And we do a whole range of training for adults. And there are jobs out there. There are jobs in logistics. There are jobs in engineering. There are jobs in health and social care. And most of those jobs people could retrain for and actually then take up a new career. So it's a good time for people to be thinking about and reflecting on, is the career they chose the right one for them, and could they think about changing to something else?
Oh, it's definitely, food for thought. I mean, I know that a lot of this sort of reskilling stuff has been, turned into memes and stuff on social media. I mean, as someone who oversees a huge college network, really, full of students kind of studying for their future careers or ones that, like you say, are retraining, is the mood one of optimism regarding the job market, or do you think that actually there's quite a bit of, pessimism about things?
I don't think there's... young people at the moment are not... I think they're thinking this is going to be a short-term issue. And therefore, by the time they've completed their career and maybe moved on to a higher level programme or a higher apprenticeship or whatever, then it will be better. Where we've seen our biggest hit in the college is in apprenticeships, because an awful lot of companies have said that because they're working from home and they're not in the office as much, etc., they actually can't take an apprentice on at the moment. And so young people apprenticeship opportunities have reduced quite significantly. But generally, most of the young people we teach and we work with are quite optimistic. Adults that come into us, most of those adults that are coming in are quite optimistic because they've made a decision to retrain or upskill. So therefore they're on a different path, if you like, than where they were before. The people there is a concern about are, I think, 19 to 24-year-olds who have finished college or finished university or finished their apprenticeship and are now finding it really difficult to get a job. And also those people who are going to be made redundant from hospitality industry, retail industry, and therefore there is a real opportunity for all of those groups of people to think, well, actually, are the jobs out there? Is there something I could retrain to do? Is there something that where I could get back into employment or a different type of employment? And there's a whole range of courses available for people to be able to do that.
What sort of support is available? Because my understanding is that up to the age of 19, you can get state funding for college courses. I believe that is still the case. Is that right?
Yeah, that is the case.
But what about people sort of, over sort of 19 that want to do courses? What sort of money are they looking at, and what support is available?
Well, there is some support available. If you're over 19, then your courses aren't free anymore. They aren't statutorily free anymore. But adults can take out loans to study a course. So we do huge amounts of training people to be plumbers and electrical installers, for example, and most of those people actually take out a loan to do that because they know that it's worth the investment, because then they'll be able to get a job at the other end. There are, if you haven't already got a level 2 qualification, which is sort of a GCSE level qualification, then the courses are free. The government are now talking about providing from April courses at level 3, which is A-level level, making those free for adults and making those an entitlement for adults moving forward. And they're also talking about a national retraining scheme for adults, which will hopefully fund people who are in work who need to be retrained to actually do that retraining that they need. And that's the biggest issue, I think, is those who are in work at the moment, because at the moment the only option for them is for their employer or for them to pay themselves. And some people do that. We do a lot of AAT, the accountancy qualification, and most of the people on those programs are in work, but they're paying for themselves to upskill and reskill so that they get an AAT qualification at a higher level so they can move up in their work. So there are some options and there are some different things available. And what I'd say to people out there is that if you're thinking about it or considering it, ring our helpline and we can help you. We can help give you some advice about where you could possibly get funding from and what different types of funding are actually available.
No, brilliant. Angela, I really appreciate you coming on to talk about this. Just very quickly, where can my listeners go to find out a little bit more information about, the opportunities that South Essex College have available at the moment?
Well, if you just go onto our website and there's all the information that you would need on our website, and it gives you all the people that you can contact, and you can either do it online, you can do it by telephone or whatever, and it gives you all the information there. And there's lots of people there to take your course, to give you some advice. We've got careers advisors, we've got people who can give you advice longer term about where you want to go and that sort of thing. So just ring or email and somebody will get back to you.